Welcome to another episode. We are Love Your Love Experience podcast. I got somebody special with you right now, right? I got somebody special to share his time with you. Don Benjamin, the one and only superstar, and does a lot of amazing things. I mean, I could spend my whole entire time, it feels good when men praise men and we tell them that they're doing a good job, and I love seeing the content. I love the gear. I got to buy me some gear as well.
I gotta get you
even do that. Right. I have to, man. So pretty much let the viewers know who you are, what you do.
Yeah, man. First and foremost, thanks for having me, man. I love what you're doing as well. Most people know me from America's Next Top Model or doing random skits on social media or my best-selling book, My Truth.
Yeah.
I try to keep my hands in everything, so no telling where they find me at.
That is true, though. That is true, man. But I have to say, we were just talking behind the scenes about, the TikTok videos and, because you and your girlfriend, y'all really be like really bonding.
Yeah.
And I always tell people when you can get into relationships like that, that's when you build a really strong foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me more about how did you guys even get into that?
Well, it's crazy because we actually, when we met, we were just friends. We got put on. She was doing Vine back in the day, and it was right when I came off a Top Model. And so it was literally just like a work relationship. But they were like, yo, you want to hop in a video? We can use a model in a video. And then we just like our circle just all started kicking it on a regular basis. And then we both got out of relationships around the same time. And then we just started hanging out more frequently and just hit it off, man. And it's dope when like you kind of have that friendship with somebody first, because then it's like sometimes that's the hardest element. Like you could be attracted to somebody, but you might not have that real chemistry. So we had that friend chemistry before we even had like the attractive chemistry.
Yeah. Before I even seen your stuff, I think my wife, she sent me one of the video that you guys did, and I was like, "Oh snap, this is hot! this is dope!" Like I don't even have time to learn how to do TikTok. Like she be wanting to do things, and she want me to learn it to teach her. Right? Won't you learn it first and come tell me, and then we'll do it together. Right. So, like, what is one of the hardest struggles, pretty much, with creating content like that?
Well, with a lot of those, man, she's creative with that stuff. Like her mind is constantly moving. She came up in that world. So I think it's just like about being consistent, just like anything else. It's like you have to constantly think of new ideas. You want to be creative. You want to think of something new and fresh. But the dope thing is like me and her together, like we work well together, like it's just, I don't know, she'll think of an idea and I'm like, oh, we should add this, or I'll be like, we should do this. And she'll be like, all right, we're going to take that and build it up into this. So it's just nowadays, man, you have to constantly be creating because for every one video you put out, the followers want 10 more back to back. So, I might do one video and it does 10 million. And then the next day they're like, what's next? What's next?
Yeah. And that's the thing about it. You got to, especially when you're an influencer and you're getting paid for it, it's a job. So you got to keep doing it if you really want to see the fruits of your labor. Right. So tell me a little bit more about your love experience, like being in a relationship with,
I mean, I've always been a relationship person. Like I've never liked to be single for long periods of time. Especially like, I don't know, I just like having that person that I know I can count on, know if I'm having a bad day I can go to and they go brighten me up, know that that we can get through some situations together. I've always like loved the relationship dynamic. Maybe I don't know if it was because I always came up in a single parent household, so I wanted like, I never had that. So I was like, I want a relationship. I want a foundation. So I always admired a strong, healthy relationship.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man. That's really good because when you have that kind of connection, that special bond with someone, because being single is cool. Some people like it, right?
Yeah.
But it's something special about, going home to someone, sharing some funny jokes with someone. Like if I find something funny on like Instagram or Facebook, I'm sharing it with my wife. I'm like, yo, check this out.
Right.
And if what's so funny, if it says seen, but she doesn't react, I'm calling her. Like, yo, I just sent you. You didn't see that? Laugh, because I want to know that it's funny.
You can't get no response.
Yeah, or you double like. I don't know what that means. I want you to tell me it was funny.
Hit the light, right?
Yeah, because it was funny to me. you know?
Yeah.
So about My Truth, like what inspired you to write it?
So what inspired my truth, man, was, you know, in the media, in the social media, we had this perfect relationship. You know,
Yeah,
we showed the good and everything, but and it's not there was a lot of bad, but you know, as a man, I was battling some things internally that I was covering up with fleshly desires.
yeah,
And you know, at the beginning of 2020, I think God sat everybody down. But I took that moment especially to like he sat me down in a major way, like split my relationship up, some things, some
yeah,
dirt came to the light. And so for me, my truth was like, you know, my reawakening, my opportunity to like recreate myself in the
yeah,
journey that I really wanted as a man, and try to learn new things that I've never experienced, you know what I'm saying, with my circle of men or my
yeah,
father or the people that I thought that I looked up to. And so my truth was an opportunity for me to do the real work that I needed to for myself, and then document it and put it into a book for other men that may be searching for these answers to go
yeah,
find. You know what I mean? And so it was super healing in the midst of it all as well, because I did a lot of soul searching, a lot of talking to like mentors and life coaches, and a lot of
yeah,
reading and trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. Why was I doing these things, or why did I think it was okay to maneuver this certain way in my relationship?
yeah,
Um, and seeking approval from the wrong people. And so the book kind of just, you know, laid everything out on the line, talking about generational curses,
yeah,
you know, why, you know, and women do are the same way. I get a lot of feedback from women where they're like, "Yo, I've been battling, you know, infidelity or whatever the case." And so, um, but for me, I really like I know there's not a lot of men that we can really go to and for like that good, you know, like
yeah,
guidance. And
yeah,
so I kind of just wanted to put that out there for
yeah,
men to be like, look, I'm in the entertainment industry, I'm a fashion model, like
yeah,
I've did my dirt, I've done some things that I'm not proud of, but we can all wake up at
yeah,
any time of our life before it's too late and change some things around that we're not proud of. And so that's kind of what my truth
yeah.
is.
Man, I love that. And I want to say two things, right? From a man to another man, I love you, right? Number one, I love you. And number two, I'm proud of you, right?
Man, I
Because
appreciate it, bro.
I tell people this, right? Dirt is good. The reason why
Mm-hmm.
dirt is good is because for somebody like you, what you just did was turn dirt into soil. And when
Mm-hmm.
the dirt is turned into soil, now things can grow from it. A lot
Yeah,
of people, they don't grow from things and they let those things manifest their life. And then it becomes
exactly.
generational curses. And they're wondering why their kids is going through it, their kids is going through it. So what you did with My Truth is that you just stopped generational
Mm-hmm.
curse
Yeah,
and you just stopped it, you know? So at that
yeah,
thing, you
man.
gotta be proud of that, man. That's like the best thing ever, man. That's like the
Yeah,
best thing.
it's like clarity, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just like you wake up and you're like, damn,
Yeah.
like this is the feeling that I've been needing,
Yeah.
and I could never understand why I wasn't getting here. It's like that feeling, you know?
Yeah. And that's when you know God is working, man. And that's how you know when God is working and things is becoming better and things is becoming brand new and things
Yeah,
is just flourishing, you know, in your life, man, in your life.
yeah,
So, man, so tell me, what are some like non-negotiables like in a relationship, right? Not your relationship, but just relationship general that people shouldn't, you know, put up with.
um, I mean, verbal abuse, physical
Yeah.
abuse,
Yeah.
you know, if there's no open communication, if it's all my way or the highway, you know, there has to be a balance. There has to be somebody admitting their faults, able
Yeah.
to change things around. You know, not everybody's perfect. And what I found in a relationship is there's always gonna be headbutting. You know, there's always gonna be everybody feels a certain way, but you have to be able to communicate and be able to let your partner know how you feel. And I feel like if you're in a relationship and you can't even speak how you feel and try to get your point across, it's just that's a
Yeah.
big no for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no room for growth if it's like that.
Yeah, that's true. I was speaking to Michelle Williams, right?
Yeah,
We were speaking on a podcast before, and I told her, "Listen, I'm struggling with it. Like me, we be bumping heads all the time. Like we be just hitting it. But
yeah,
my thing is, like my problem that I'm working on now, and this is my season to work on it, is learning how to argue and disagree without shutting out. Like I
right.
try my best. especially if I'm focused, because relationship, it messes up work. If I can't
I feel like that's men in general. I feel like we just kind of shut down and we're like,
yeah. So I'm trying to have a conversation. I want to. So my goal, sometimes I go into a month and I say them, or a week, and I say,
yeah,
you know what, this week I'm gonna be a yes man. I said this week I'm gonna be a yes man. So
yeah,
my friend was like, what you mean yes man? Right. And I'm like I'm gonna be a yes man. Every time she tell me to do something, I'm gonna just say yes.
mm-hmm.
So, she went on her her route with the TV stuff that she's doing. And she said, oh, well, could you bring the bags downstairs to the car? I said, yes. Right. She's like, okay, cool. All right. Then she said, oh, could you get Chloe dressed? Usually I do not want to dress her because she'd be running around.
Yeah,
You got to run her around the house. She'd be hiding,
mm-hmm.
and I can't find her literally. So I was like, yes. So I just kept on saying yes to everything, and it became
She was
cool.
like,
Yeah.
"Ooh."
She's like, what are you doing? Yes. I just everything was yes. So I just found that's a little strategy that I use, for myself to at
Yeah,
least help me become better, because that's
uh-huh.
that's my goal. My
And
goal.
it's crazy you say that because I've been telling people because I've been kind of doing the same thing and it's like as men we're kind of like I shouldn't do that or I don't want to do that
Yeah.
or why do I got to do that? You do that. But as you start to say yes more frequently, after a while, your partner is going to start to realize that, and they're going to be like, okay, damn, they're starting to do everything for me. And then it's going to start, the role's going to start to reverse. You know what I mean? They're going to want to start to do more things for you eventually. And if they don't, then it might not be the right situation if they start to take advantage of those yeses.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
It's
know what I
over.
mean? But that's how you know your real life partner. They're going to notice it and they're
Yeah.
going to be like, damn, like, okay, they're really trying to do more for me and really just like women love when you say yes.
Yeah. 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 Like usually we don't like we do grocery shopping sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes the schedules be crazy, so we order a lot of like food to Amazon Prime and all those stuff to come
Yeah.
here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she told me this to go outside and get like bottles of water. So I'm like, I didn't want to say yes because I'm like, I gotta, you got the car and I gotta, and I'm like, all right, and I did it anyway, but it was I took a cab. I didn't feel like bringing those waters back, So enough about that before we get in trouble. They start watching the interview and get us in trouble or something. Um, how does loving
What
the
a
right person look like?
I think loving the right. I feel like loving the right person. It's a good question, but I feel like it's like when you know. I don't. It's hard to explain, but it's like it's different. Like I feel like when you love the right person, you're gonna want to fight for it. If
Hmm.
it's not the right person, it'll be easier to walk away from it. Like if they do things, you can be like, I'm fed up, I'm out. But if it's the right person, I feel like you're more prone to be able to put up with more and try to figure it out. I feel like that's what I've learned. Like, if there's girls that I know I can't deal with little things, I'm gonna be easily shut out. I'm like, you know what, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah,
But when it's the one, it's like it comes easier. You're like, yo, we gonna figure this out. We gonna get through whatever. That's
yeah.
kind of how I feel.
No, I think that's a perfect thing, because a lot of people, they just tolerate people in relationships and they
Hmm.
don't really fight for anything, and
Yeah.
they like to throw out words. Well, you better act up or I'm out. You're not supposed to say things like that, right?
Right.
And I had people who use divorce, as
Hmm.
an excuse, like, hey, listen, if this don't work, I'm gonna divorce you anyway. So it was like, what am I fighting for? If that's on the table,
This
I'm
don't
taking
work. I divorce you
it. If
anyway.
that's yeah, and some people do those things, right?
Right.
But so we got that part. What about loving the wrong person now?
Loving the wrong person. I think loving the wrong person, I feel like goes back to, the communication level, the stubbornness. Like
Hmm.
if you're with the wrong person is gonna be stubborn. They're not gonna find that room of give to, what I'm saying, to find balance and cooperate with the relationship. They're just gonna my way or the highway. I feel like that's the number one sign, and it's a wrong person.
Yeah,
Like if they're never taking your feelings into consideration, they're never worried about what you think. I feel like it just can't work.
yeah, yeah. So what about what about single people, right? Single people who's looking for love, looking for a relationship, looking
Yeah,
for something, right? But just can't find Mr. or Mrs. Right. Like, what advice, would you give them?
man, it's hard out here. It's hard out here. All my single friends be complaining.
Yeah,
But I feel like I don't know, man. Me personally, I feel like it always comes when you're not looking. I
Mm,
feel like a lot of the things is when you're looking for a partner and you're like, yo, I need to just find me a partner is when it never comes. But it's like when you're focused on you, when you're like trying to figure out how to be the best version of yourself, you're locked in, you're focused on your work, your grind, you
yeah,
working out. I feel like the right person comes into your life and you feel that energy come to you. Uh, I mean, that's what happened with me, my situation. Like I wasn't looking for it,
yeah,
but she kept popping up into my life. Our energy kept, you know what I'm saying, getting on the same frequency, and it just felt like it felt natural. It didn't feel forced, and I feel like looking for a relationship, especially with women, like as we get older, like I'm in my 30s, as we start to get in our 30s, we start to kind of panic, or like I need to find somebody. But
yeah.
I feel like when you go into that panic is when it kind of you're pushing the energy away from you.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true because the older you, for a lot of women, the older they get, it's like, Don, where am I gonna find my man?
Right.
And they be saying, oh, when am I gonna find this? When am I gonna find that?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them, and then women are different than men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially like chemically, right,
Yeah.
and having children and
Yeah.
those things. So that's you got to understand it from that part,
Exactly.
But a lot of people will be settling out here, just to be loved.
Yeah, and that's a big thing is they're settling, and it's so many people that are broken within themselves, like women have been damaged from past relationships
Yeah,
or childhoods, men have been broken from childhoods, and we're a lot of men are out here just looking for sex, and the
yeah.
women are looking for love, and then there's not that communication because it's not aligning, and then the women are out here like all men ain't shit because I feel like,
Hmm.
what I'm saying, and then so it's like that's why I say you got to work on yourself. You got to be healed and know what you're going to tolerate as a man or a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you looking for within yourself? Like, what levels are you trying to reach within yourself? And then what are you willing to tolerate and put up with from that other partner? And then I feel like that's how you kind of know you're going to know when the right one comes along because you're going to feel that energy. You're more in tune rather than, oh, I'm eager, I'm panicked, I just need to find somebody. I just don't want to be alone. It never works like that.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't work like that because a lot of people be hungry for love, and you fall into the wrong arms, and then
Yeah,
they're gonna break you, and you're gonna spend like a
they gonna
year
take
or two.
advantage. Yeah,
Yeah, they take advantage of you, and men know who to take advantage of sometimes,
yeah,
right?
for
And then
sure.
women, they be so vulnerable, and they be,
Yeah,
oh, why did he do that? It's because he seen you at your weakest. He probably
yeah,
was confided in you, told you the right things. You said, wow, why couldn't I find a man like that? And the
right.
whole time he was planting little seeds, to
Yeah,
get what he want, and then he leave.
hmm,
And then the number one word for women, all men are dogs.
yeah.
Am I right?
Exactly. They revert right back to that. And
Yeah, and it's that. So if somebody's broken, right, what are like some steps that they can take? Like a few steps on how they can heal or find themselves.
I tell every man that I talk to, man, that you need to talk to life coaches. You need to talk to. It's okay to talk to counselors and therapists. Read, research. You know what I'm saying? Like, take yourself outside of your inner circle. Make yourself uncomfortable. Go talk to people that you normally wouldn't talk to. I feel like these are big steps for men to reach that new level, because it worked so well for me. Like I literally changed my whole mindset, my whole outlook on life by doing so, by going and talking to people
Yeah,
that have been through the same things as me. Because, if we're talking to our inner circle all the time, all we know is what we're doing. And most of the time, our inner circle projects our lifestyle.
yeah, yeah,
So, so for me, I wanted to talk to somebody that was a little older, that had been through some breakups, that had been through infidelity and
yeah,
overcame it, that have been through these things. And so for men, I really preach, man, go and find yourself a mentor that's older. Get involved with the churches,
yeah.
read. Like there's so many outlets out there. We never want to search for it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's so true, because everyone needs to heal at some capacity, and you got to watch your circle around you.
Yeah,
One of the things that I always tell people is that a lot of people are still the broken 15, 14, and 13-year-old them, right?
yeah,
It's because you go through a relationship when you're 13 and your heart
yeah,
get broken, right? Who you getting advice
mhm,
from? The 13, 14-year-old kids around you. You
yeah,
reach 17 years old now. Get into another breakup. Who do you seek help
right,
from? The 17, 18-year-old kids. Then you get older now and you're still operating on that because you never healed. So you're
yeah,
going to continue to blame everything else around you.
Yeah.
Man, I deal with clients who still can't get over breakups that happened when they was 15, and
It's
they're in their
crazy.
50s, right?
Because what happens is it's crazy. I'm reading this book, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming
Mhm.
Supernatural, and he talks about how what happens is like we hold on, like when something bad happens, it's like a snowball rolling down the hill,
Yeah,
and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger because we hold on to it, and then every day we just keep building on it and building on it and building on it. So if you're thinking about that breakup all month,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And then even if you start to slowly stop thinking about it the next month, it's still in your mind now. And
yeah.
then you're carrying those same issues into your next relationship. And it's a snowball. We don't let it go as humans. And then that's how it becomes programmed into our subconscious mind because we never let these things go, man. And it's crazy because yeah, like you said, it starts at that young age.
Yep.
And then before you know it, bro, like the window between 15 and 30 isn't that big. Like I feel like I was just
Short.
bro, I feel like I was just 15 like yesterday. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
it's a short window. And so you have to imagine we're not really trained to reprogram our minds. Like nobody teaches us these things. So we just get caught in doing the same thing. And then you're like, well, I'm gonna jump to this next relationship, but you're still doing the same thing you was doing in the past one. Like you're not changing nothing about yourself. So
Mm-mm.
how is the relationship supposed to change? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and that's one of the number one questions that I ask people too when I'm talking to them, I'm coaching them. As I ask them, tell me about your last relationship, because they think they're coming to me for the relationship that's going on now.
Right.
I don't even care about the relationship that's happening now.
You're like,
What
I
I
want to hear
care
about the
about
last
is
one.
what's underneath the surface.
Right.
So I ask them,
Like,
so
what are you carrying with you?
exactly, and a lot of them, it's not even they don't even heal from it. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I was with him for like 3 months, and I got into this one like a month after. So I said, okay, so that little gap, what did you do? Did you try to heal? No, I was just, hanging out with my girls or hanging, whatever. You never healed. You didn't even make an
Right.
attempt to find out who you were. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned that earlier, right? Really understanding who you are, where you
Yeah.
want to go, and who am I? I think that's the
Yeah.
question of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Who am I, and what kind of love do I want to attract?
Because they're
You
like,
know?
I just want to be treated good. I just want a man to treat me right, work
Yeah.
hard. It's like, but is that really what you want? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want for yourself
Yeah.
first and foremost? And
Yeah.
then the right man's gonna come do the things that you need him to do.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So anything else before we jump off? Anything else that you want to share with our viewers who's listening and watching? Any Don advice?
I mean, the advice I give people is just work on yourself daily. Uh, you can always be a better version of yourself. Us as humans, we tend to let the past hold us down. We tend to let past mistakes break us or hold us down. But every day is a new day, man, to overcome and be a better version of yourself. So when you wake up, it's like you're waking up into a new form of yourself. So take
Yeah.
advantage of it.
Yeah, that's excellent advice, man. Thank you so much, man. I want to thank you again, for jumping on. Thank you for your time. I know it's very valuable, man.
For
Keep being a
sure.
great man. Keep doing your thing. Keep building that relationship with you and your wonderful girlfriend, man. And if I could help out in any way, I know we're gonna jump on a live sometime soon.
Yeah, bro, for sure. We'll stay
Once
in
we
touch
do
for
that,
sure. We'll stay connected, man.
yeah,
Keep inspiring
definitely,
the
man.
world too.
Exactly, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And until next time, your love experience, and we out.